Well, I use this mold quite a lot, and actually it makes a shoe. And you'd think, well, who would want a resin shoe? And the answer is, oddly enough, an awful lot of people. They use them for lots of different things, and they make some great little gifts, and they're great at weddings. Now I'm going to show you 3 different techniques that I've used with this and got some great results. This mold splits there, so you do need to ensure that you put it together. Now it comes with a clip sometimes, or sometimes it doesn't, but I like to use pegs. All I do is that, and I find that clips in a lot more of it than the clip that comes with it, and get less trimming at the end. So for this I'm going to be using the 3 times super yellow resistant by J Diction. It's a crystal clear, brilliant resin. It mixes up as a 1-to-1, and you always get a great result with it. So for the first one, that's what I'm going to be using. I will link everything that I use, including this mold, in the description below as well. So if you want to get hold of it, then you can find it really, really easily. Well, now my resin's mixed up, what I'm going to be doing is setting these tiny little red crystals into this shoe. Before I do that, what I'm going to do is pour a little bit of resin in it and let that go all the way to the bottom. Give it a bit of a squidgy widgy, and that just helps to ensure that everything is going to go all the way down to the bottom and there will be resin there and not parts missed out. And now what I'm going to do is add some crystals to here and shake them down, and then in a separate pot, because I don't want to dilute these, I may have mixed up more resin than I needed, and I'll just use that in a different project. I'm going to pour the rest of those crystals in that separate pot like that and give them a really good mix in. Now this will create some bubbles, but actually in this effect I'm not too bothered. I'm not putting it in a brush pot or anything like that. What I'm going to do is just allow those bubbles to stay in there, because I like the way that they refract in there. Now I'm going to pour this down. And because this is nicely split, this mold, you can open it up like this and ensure that everything is getting right the way down to the bottom by tapping it like this. And you can also see as well that some of these crystals need to be helped down there. I'm going to hold that together and just continue to push those crystals down. And these crystals cost next to nothing as well. You can buy them really cheaply. So now I'm going to just add some dry crystals onto that. Move any out of that gap. Don't want them there. This is where I put my pegs on. So I'm happy that I've got that lined up like that. And I can now clamp that together. It's not too much messing about. Check round to make sure, oh look, I've got some gaps there without any crystals. I'm going to move some down there. And that can be just done with a little bit of squidgy widgy or the stick. And then once you're as happy as you can be, that you've got enough in there, I'm going to fill this right the way up to the top with the resin and crystal mix. Making sure I've got none of these crystals kind of spilling out the sides. Putting the last few in the heel. So we're all done there. Top that heel up as well, because we want that to be full right up. Pop any bubbles that have come up using a long neck lighter, and then leave that to cure up overnight. I think I've got them everywhere. I might have missed a couple in this bit here of the heel, but if I have, hopefully they'll sink all the way down to there anyway. And if they don't, then it's only a little bit and it shouldn't really show too much. This is all cured now, so all I need to do is just take those clips off and open this up. Actually, this is a really easy mold to demold, and it is because it does split like that. My advice is, oh look, I did get some there where the heel, although I quite like that. I did get some here, which is an overspill, and this is the time to get rid of this. And you'll always get this when you use this mold because you're clipping it together. I think that looks really, really pretty. Could you imagine what that would be like filled with a little bit of glitter in there as well, and possibly some sequins? I think that would look great. So there we go. That's all trimmed off now, and it leaves a really, really good impression. I love that. So now we'll move on to the second one, which is going to be a solid colour. So the second method I like is this one. What I've got here is white mica powder and glitter mixed in my resin. And again, I'm going to pour this in a little bit at a time because I want to get some squidgy widgying going on around here to make sure that I've got as much air out of it as I can possibly get. Pop a little bit more in, and I'm using the same resin this time as well. Okay, and now I'm going to peg off my heels as much as I can. I find this is a much better way of doing it than using any other clips. Making sure you've got your join there together. Now you will get a little bit of underpour coming up here, but you can trim that off without any problems whatsoever. We'll give it another little squidgy widgy, and then we can top that right up to the top. And it should have topped up the heel at the same time as well, but we'll check that in a second. Yeah, it has done. There we go. So that's all full. I will leave that for a couple of minutes again and pop the bubbles that come on the top, and we'll leave that to cure up. And then I'll show you one more method after this, and we can compare all three of the shoes. So this is nicely cured, and we can take that off. And this is the second one. And like I said, there is a bit of a overpour in between those two parts where you stick that together, but that will come out really easily. And these make great little wedding props in this colour. They seem to be really popular. And like the previous one, all I need to do is go down there like that and trim that right back. It's best to do it when it first comes out the mould because it's still a little bit softer then, and you'll get it much easier. If you wait a couple of days, then what will happen is the resin will have gone really, really hard, and you'll never, well, you will get it out, but it'll be a lot harder. So there we go. That's all trimmed out now, and that sits really well. If you want to, you can put like a little black sole on these as well. That can work lovely. So that's the second method, and let me show you the third method. So for this one, what I'm going to be using is the J Diction 3 times UV Protect, because I want it to be completely clear. I also want it to be as bubble free as I can get it. So before I pour my resin, I'm going to put it into my Resiner's debubbler as well, because I really want this to be as good as I can get it clear. It's quite hard often to get things perfectly clear, so when you use the best tools to do it, you get the best result. And this will also not go yellow very, very quickly. You know, 3 times UV Protect makes a big difference. I'm also going to mix it up, trying not to get many bubbles in it as well. So I'm going to mix it slowly. I'm going to use a spatula as well so that doesn't release any bubbles into it. So I've mixed that up, and I've tried to avoid mixing many bubbles in it. And now what I'm going to do is put this on for 9 minutes and let that get rid of all the remaining bubbles that are in there. I have got a discount code for this, so if you want to get hold of this with the discount, I'll leave it in the description below. So as you can see, that has cleared that resin really nicely, although I have got a tiny hair in it, which I can't have. So I'm going to take that out now. I must be molting. And now what I'm going to do is pour a little bit into the actual shoe itself, down the side of the shoe to get it into the bottom, and then pour a little bit into the heel so it's got almost like a little bit of lubrication to come up that way. I'm going to do a little bit of squidgy widgy to ensure that I've got no trapped bubbles around this heel and any other bits, and then leave this to cure overnight. This shoe's completely cured now, and it's ready to demold, and it should demold really easily like the other ones have. So again, we've got that little bit of overpour there, but that is so easy, like I said, to be able to get rid of. And look how beautiful and clear and bubble free that shoe is, and that is purely down to putting your resin in the bubble extractor. Well worth it. Discount code in the description below. Brilliant little machine. So there we go. We've made 3 very different shoes that could be used for different things. Hope you've enjoyed this project. Please boot that like button, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to check out the video that's coming up next. And links to everything are in the description below. Take care. Enjoy your resin. Bye.